Boo boo. No. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another Unreal Engine 5 game development livestream. We're back in her gas course project, a game built from scratch using Unreal Engine 5, C++, the gameplay ability system plugin, and all of that good stuff. Today we're going to be working on what I hope to be a player subsystem that basically is like a hub to where we would listen to explicit gameplay events that would then kind of redirect things into gameplay effects and then grant player card resources. I kind of want to make a subsystem only because I'm not super familiar with subsystems, so I want to work with them a little bit more, and I want to try to move away, if possible, with components, especially just on the player, honestly, just because components have a little bit of an overhead, and we'll see if we can achieve some of the same things, but within a subsystem rather than like a component. Or this could also be an ability that's granted on the player or any actor at that point that would listen to a bunch of these events and then just apply the gameplay effect and stuff like that, which might also work. But you gotta also make sure to remember to grant that ability when we want it, which would be all the time, more or less. But maybe using a player subsystem and just registering our actor is the way to go, and then basically just listening for our gameplay events. So I don't really have the subsystem working, but I have an example working of where if I kill this enemy, I get, I believe, 20 card resource. So that's the resource that you're seeing on the bottom left, these circles slowly filling up. On death, I get a little bit more. So I kind of want to move that out from, because if I do it the way I've been doing it, it's gonna be like logic kind of scattered all over the place. So I'd rather have like a hub that's kind of just listening for all these things in this specific context. I believe it's in the health attributes set where we have this card resource and everything, and we're kind of just updating the information there and applying it to the source instigator. So that could probably be turned into an event. Because I think we're already sending an event. And it might be in the damage execution. So yeah, on damage dealt, on damage received. I'm pretty sure there's, let me check, gameplay tags. Event, gameplay, on death. So it doesn't seem like there's one for on killed, which we should probably add. That can go in our native gameplay tags. Source and control errors. Oh boy. So yeah, let's add this one for death. I have to like log into everything. Fuck that. So let's go into our native gameplay tags. So we have this. We have a whole section for events here. So event.gameplay. Those will probably be the ones that we kind of want to do. So I'd also need the header file here. Let's grab another one. Let's put it on here. Event. This is gonna be a tricky one. So we have on death, and then we should have one like on. Like, what's the equivalent when you did something? On death. Because there's damage dealt, damage received, on death dealt. Not a fan of that, but maybe that's enough. We have that, right? And then we're gonna have to update the code for, I believe, the health attribute, no, or damage execution. Probably on the health, right? Because we sent a gameplay event somewhere that we died. Here. So we'll probably do something very similar. I don't think we need to change much about this. We want to probably pass in the tags though. So on death payload dot target tags. Hello Afro 3DM. I'm really new to Unreal and I have no idea why you have tags like that. Like gameplay tags? I mean, you know, these are just how you initialize gameplay tags in C++. They end up being here and they're hierarchical. So hopefully it'll be a little cleaner. It makes a little sense then. I was just trying to find the right word. I don't know if I could set them like this. Yeah, gameplay tags. Well, these are, you know, gameplay tags could be used for a couple different things, but in this context, they're going to be used for events. So whenever something happens in the game, we can use the gameplay ability system to send events to actors, and so we can respond to these events in other places without having kind of a direct reference of where the source came from. But in other contexts, gameplay tags are used to just label things, lack of a better term. So again, in the context of the gameplay ability system, you can label abilities so you know which one's the query. You can label gameplay effects for the same reason. You can put state-based tags on things to say if they're on fire, if they're electrocuted, you know, whatever the case might be. I don't think I want dynamic granted tags. How do I get the tags here? I always forget. The source ability component should be true. I guess I would need to do the same thing here. So now we should be able to say equals, so target ability system component, get on gameplay tag. I guess I could say what? Seems like a lot to write for that just one part that I needed. So basically, you can use the tags to tell the system that this actor is being affected by this effect or something. I'm really new and learning, so any help is better than no help. Hey, no problem, no problem, no problem. More or less, yes. Because what you could do, for example, I'll pull up a blueprint here. Here's my character, right? I could, for example, do a couple things, honestly. I could say get ability system component. And then I could say get own tags, or you could say, has any tag or has tag. You can query stuff that way. And you can also have these events, or tasks, I should say. Wait for gameplay event. So you can send a gameplay event to actor. You can also, I think it's called wait gameplay event to actor. Yeah. So you could send it to an actor, and then that actor can listen to it, and then you can respond to it when it's received. And you could do stuff with tags, whether or not you want the matching tag exactly, or if you're willing to accept any of them within this specific hierarchy based on what you've written there. So more or less, that's what it's for. Gameplay abilities have other things you could do with it, but more or less, that's what's there. I would recommend to you, if you're new and if you're interested in the gameplay ability system plugin, to check out that documentation in that GitHub project. It's super duper useful. I use it very often, anytime I forget anything. So definitely check it out. Yeah, it's all part of the gameplay ability system plugin, stuff from Unreal. Super chill. So I have the tags there. Hey, no problem. And source tags, and then luckily the gator tags, source tags. Okay, so that should be enough. And then I should be able to then also say source ability system component. I should also be able to say target ability system component with this here. And then I can change this to event dot on death dealt and just pass that along that way. And then yeah, I do this resource stuff. This is all the stuff with sending the information to give myself a value of 20 for my card resource. This is what we're going to refactor out elsewhere. And then yeah, this is all that. I can change this to target ability system component probably. How long have you been coding in C++? I've done like one course for game development, but I'm nowhere near just typing the way you do. I mean, partially it's, it's not autocorrect, but IntelliSense and like the AI stuff on Writer that's just helping me fill things out. So don't be too impressed on what's going on. But after a while, you kind of after doing things for a while, you kind of understand what you need to write. You may not know exactly how to write it, but you at least kind of know in your head what needs to happen. I'm not working professionally in C++. I just work in C++ on this project and try to learn through this way. So I guess about like a year, maybe 2 years, honestly, if I had to give an honest opinion. But most of my work that I do is in blueprints for my job, and do a lot of technical design, just game design stuff and state tree stuff. So I try to expand myself here so that I can talk to engineers a little more sophisticatedly, if that's the word. Okay. Yeah, we also don't need to replicate anymore. We're not doing any multiplayer stuff, so I kind of want to. So let's just clean this thing while I'm here. Fuck it. We don't need that. We probably don't need a bunch of stuff in includes as well. We don't need the network. Everything else seems to be kosher. We just also need to go into the header file. We don't need that. Replicated using, that all can go away. Watch me do all this stuff and then everything breaks. But we're not doing multiplayer anymore. We dropped that idea. Too much for, one person to do. Not worth it, in my opinion. Love multiplayer games, don't get me wrong. Good. Now we have all these on reps. We can nuke. I think that's clean. Let's compile. Let's just make sure we didn't set things on fire. It's still dope though. The end goal is getting into game development, coding, C++, but that's really sick though. I appreciate it. Yeah, I hope everything goes smoothly, relatively. Get used to feeling stupid. Get used to being confused a lot of the time. Get used to liking something and then hating something, changing your mind on stuff. It's all part of the process. So now what I'm hoping, and we can test this in Blueprint quickly, is to make sure that we're getting this on death dealt event with the proper information. We can just quickly debug that. And then we can make our subsystem. Because again, what the point is with the subsystem is, we have this card resource, right? It's basically Resolve from Ghost of Tsushima or Spirit from First Berserker Kazan. And basically, whenever you do something interesting in gameplay, that could be parrying, that could be setting enemies on fire, status effects, perfect dodges, killing an enemy, what have you. We want to send those events back to the player and then calculate how much of that card resource that they've earned. So killing an enemy can grant 30, 40, whatever the number is, parrying, whatever. And then we can introduce attributes later that can act as multipliers or modifiers to those things. But let's just start with this one thing. Excuse me, I'm drinking a Monster Energy drink and it's putting me through the loop. Luckily, it's 0 sugar, so I'm not going to feel too bad about myself. Okay, so like I wrote before, we could, wait for the event just to check if we have it. So wait, I could, wait, gameplay event, actor can be self. We go like that, and then there should be now this delt. We could just print hello. But that's not going to be too fun. Let's get that payload that we were constructing. And yeah, let's double check how we did this. So we're doing the event. Also, I should probably not do it like that because I could, override it or something, but it's fine. So target is the owner, instigator. Yeah. So I think that's fine. So let's get target tags. And let's see if when we kill this dummy enemy, if we get the information that we'd expect. Currently have a monster in hand, 0 sugar, ultra golden pineapple. Shit. I have ultra fiesta mango. Oh. Cheers. Cheers, my dude. So we can use the consequent debug ability gameplay tags to see tags on everybody. And obviously my dummy character doesn't really have any tags. So we're not going to get anything when we kill him. But we could dodge through him and now he has like a bunch of tags because he's on fire. but we basically have to try to kill him while he's on fire to kind of get any sort of relevant information. So we could do that. We could jump through him, and then we could just do that, and then boom. So we got the event. There should be some print string logs in here. No, there's one called explode, right? Yeah, here we go. So we have those printed out. So we know that worked. And, just for the sake of proving it further, we can do our special attack to do a lot of damage. Go through him, do it again, boom. Here we go. And now this payload should have everything that we kind of constructed. So optional objects are unknown because we didn't pass anything through. But we do have things like our instigator, our target, the event magnitude, which I'm guessing is the damage that was dealt, right? Yeah, the actual damage that killed him. So we have that, and we see that it does work, which is great. So it kind of proves our point. So what we can do, I hope, is make a new C++ class. Yeah, Jack and Daxter, that was some good stuff. Yeah, these are just art assets from the marketplace. I kind of want to go with this kind of vibe, this art style, stylistic kind of thing. Just kind of gives me more free reign to make things kind of goofy or, not grounded, realistic, whatever you want to call it. And we have some basic systems in place. We have melee combos that we're going to eventually change with better animations, air attack, jump attack, whatever you want to call it, a heavy special attack. We have death, we have warping, we have health, obviously movement, and this guy's shooting projectiles, and we have AoEs. Right now, his AoEs are just healing me. So yeah, we have a decent framework to kind of work with. Yeah, we have dodging. I have to work on the parry and block. Right now, it doesn't really do anything. He just moves the shield up, and that's about it. Got focused on other things. But the main hook of the game is, while you're playing and you have these card resources, you can enter this mode. Obviously, it's super prototypey, but you'll have these cards that you can activate, and it kind of works as a pseudo deck builder mixed in with like these real-time action gameplay. So, for example, I can have card 2, which then lets me get criticals all the time. So I'm getting critical hit. And then I can activate this other one that crit applies burn. So now he applies burn, and he explodes on death. Blah, blah, blah. So I'm trying to see how we can mix those kind of things where you have waves of enemies, and you have to survive. You have to earn scores, and the scores, with the points that you get, it's kind of, I'm going for a roguelite. So you use the points to upgrade the character, and we'll have to figure out what stats are permanent, what stats are persistent for the run, what cards you can unlock, how you stack your deck, how the deck building actually works. And then on top of that, I want to have, you have like this mob AI, so AI that have different archetypes, stuff like that. But on top of that, I want there to be a high level AI that's also playing cards. So when you're in this mode, you see cards that are activating. And so they can use cards to debuff you or counter your cards or buff their mobs, and you kind of have to like play on two separate layers, with the card layer and the actual action layer. And so you can have cards that grant you an ability, and that active ability can be like some charge or something like that. So I'm looking forward to it. Right now we're just doing some of the lower level stuff. And in the background with a friend of mine, we're designing some of the other stuff here. It's looking really sick. I am a fan of that style myself. Are all those things from the marketplace, or did you make those yourself? So, all the art, I didn't make. So assets, animations, stuff like that is either from the marketplace or it's free from the marketplace. But everything else I put together. So yeah, let's get down to business, right? So new C++ class, we want a player subsystem. I don't know what I should call it, if it should be called hub or active card resource manager. Why not? Public, there is something called managers, but it's a subsystem, so I kind of want to put it into here. Systems. Make a new folder. Oh, there is a card energy. That's what I'll say. That. And we can create that class, and we'll let the hot reload take care of it. I don't like how it opens up a new writer instance. Just gotta close out of that, use this one. Hello, Alt Jarvis. How's it going? Thanks for popping in. How's life? I just finished my monsters, so I'm kind of sad. So let's let this do its thing, and then yeah, let's open up card energy, active card energy, card manager. So I'm pretty sure I need to register first. How is game development going for you? It's a very touchy subject, I guess. You have some good days, you have some bad days. Today is just a midday. Work was tough, but I'm glad to be working on this project now, just to unwind, I guess, and kind of not vibe code, but just turn my brain off a little bit and think out loud and have no pressure for anything. So you have another monster waiting for you. That's for tomorrow. Hey, if you're doing sugar-free, then it's totally healthy. So we probably don't need core minimal, so let's just nuke that. I don't think we need... we could make these things U functions as well, but I guess we could do it in blueprints just to prove the point. But we'll see. So yeah, public, U function. You work on Roblox Studio? Damn. What made you choose that? I also had the update writer again. Yeah, I've been using Unreal for a long time. I'm trying to learn Godot on the side as much as I can. There's this one tutorial series, Playable Workshop. I don't know if you're familiar, but they do a series for it that I'm just kind of watching and working with. I rigged my player model for my game today, which didn't take long, but that's all the energy I have right now. What kind of animation are you going to be looking at? Better yet, what kind of game are you going to be making, if you don't mind my asking? So does this, so it's processing assets. I feel like this is not going to do IntelliSense correctly, but so void, I guess I could say cool, register player, and then it's going to take, I think it's got to take a player controller. So a player controller, I don't know if it needs to be a pointer or not, but in player, and I guess the same. Make sure that it's blueprint callable for now. Gotta love that IntelliSense, right? Boom, boom. I just hate C++ syntax. Too messy, and libraries are all over. Just way too hard on syntax. Okay. I mean, what's the syntax on Roblox Studio? What is which language is it using? Is it I guess it has to be some sort of scripting language, no? Like C# or Python, or does it have its own Roblox script that you work in? Cool. Unregister. Same thing. I think I have to keep an internal reference to the player. It's a cat player character, and it's set up. Oh, it's Lua. Okay, okay. It's a cat player character. I know Lua is an option in Unity, I think, right? As a scripting language, it's like Boo and Lua. I don't remember too much. There's a guy in my college when I went back when I was in school that used Lua a lot. He's really cool. So unregistered players, we got all that good stuff. We're gonna have to generate those things, right? And true for now. And we're gonna have to hold a reference to our local player. The object member can be destroyed resulting in a stale pointer. I think it has to be U property, right? Okay. Now we can say if I gotta say what? I don't know if this is necessarily what I want to be doing, but hold on. False. Similar here. And then we want to say, yeah, like that. I wonder if I could just do a straight up equals, like, if that's safe, I don't know. So we have that. Then, like in theory, I should be able to look at this in blueprints to see if this works. Hey, Vinny Guerrero, how are you doing? I'm good. Totes good. Totes good. Oh, and Sam, LMTI. Sorry, I didn't see your message. How you doing? I'm working on a game as well, but at this moment I am stuck with adjusting my framework since I make my scripts off the modules I have. Here's an alpha version of it, but a lot of bugs. Okay, for those who play Roblox, go ahead and check that out. Afro, I forgot to finish what you were saying. It's a cat player character and is set up quite similar to Little Nightmares. Okay, I like Little Nightmares. I think I just played the first one. I don't think I played any of the other ones. I want to definitely check out the other ones. I try to avoid scary games too much. Like, yeah, it gets under my skin. But right now, I'm playing Atomic Heart, which is kind of creepy as well. So it has the same movement and 2.5D side scroll almost. So I need to pick it up. So I need a pickup with the mouse and drag and like running in and jump. Okay. It also seems like it kind of reminds me of crap. What's the name of that game? There's Limbo, and then there's another game from the same company. I think it's like a play a boy in like a red shirt. It's the same thing, like 2.5D side scrolling. Why can't I remember? I think it starts with an A or an E. Definitely a vowel. I could probably look on Steam real quick. Not an A. Not an E either. Okay. So I just basically lied. What's the name of this game? Now it's gonna drive me nuts. Sorry, guys. Um, Inside. Yeah, there you go. Do I not have Inside in here? Where the hell did I play that game? Oh well. Okay. Should I switch to Unreal? Roblox has a big community, but so does Unreal Engine. I mean, I would. It really just depends on the games that you're working on. Yeah, I have a buddy of mine who's kind of really eyeing Godot just because of how much simpler and more open Godot is. Because Unreal kind of sticks you into a framework and it has a lot of bloat in it that you may not need for a lot of the games that you're making. So if you're trying to make smaller games, I don't see why Roblox would be an issue, honestly. But check it out yourself, and if it makes sense for what you want to make, kind of go for it. So I should be able to say active card subsystem. And then I should be able to say register. And I probably want to do this on possess. And I could just print this as well. So hopefully I will see a true printed on screen or a crash. Hey. We got a kitty in the house. Hold on. Hey, boo boo. Fudge. Fudge. Say hi to everybody. Hey. May I introduce you to Boo Boo, the best kitty? You'll be another distraction for me. Oh, Billy. Yeah, you had to go there. But you're right. You're right. It's my favorite pussy, too. All right, don't get in the way, Boo Boo. Oh, my lord, it's a kitty. Sorry, Vinny. Give me a second. I gotta catch up on your messages. Have you ever felt like you must have known a given method in Unreal all the time, and when you discover it exists, it just rings a bell for you? Yeah, man. Like at a certain point, you have to become like your own kind of library in your head about what exists in Unreal and what doesn't exist. Like the method was there the whole time, but you didn't know it exists. It was, it was what? It was met. It was met your use case specifically. Yeah, I mean, there's so many secrets hidden within Unreal, you know. Well, have fun making your game. I hope you succeed. Probably the last time you'll ever see me on Twitch. All it does used to. I used to watch Quit. Oh, okay. Well, I'm sorry to hear that, Alt Jarvis. Thank you for stopping in. I appreciate the time we had together. All the best to you as well. Isn't that right, Boo Boo? Okay. Let's see. Do we get true? We do. You guys can't see it because the text is small, but we do. Right, Boo Boo? Mm. Okay. So now I gotta remember the C++ syntax of stuff because like now that I have the local player controller and stuff, I need to get the ability system component. So I probably have to track all that stuff too. All right, the cat is just in my face here. Okay. I can't resist petting this cat. You gotta leave. You're too cute. I need to do stuff. Go. Sorry. Okay. So what do I want to say? Um, I want to say if let's see. I don't want to say some of that, but not all of that. I don't want to register it like that. So I want to say still like that, and then I think it's what. So if stop trying to make me init stuff. I don't want to do that. So registered local. Let's see. Now there should be something with events. It's not handle gameplay event is what sends it. There has to be so register gameplay event. Um, I also have to make a function, I think. I always forget the syntax for this crap. So I'm gonna ask ChatGPT, no shame in that, from what I know. So finds plus listen sending. The F gameplay event tag multitask. Go again. Is that what I want? Well, it would be somewhere in here. Essentially. Yeah, here's our delegate here. I don't know if I need to do if I really need to do a lambda or not. I don't know if that's even needed. Or we could do something like this. And I'll have to do event tag. What's wrong with this? Non-constant value represents the type. Do I need to include something? Bro, am a student. How has some experiencing in developing some low-level code using C, and I know some concept in shell scripting, but for now I got a new project to build a whole application which will teach all the STEM subjects in a gamified manner. Sounds very cool. Best of luck with that. So, I don't know why this is giving me a problem. Uh, map. Is there anything, right? It doesn't have to be a pointer. So, blah blah blah. Generic game callbacks called side. No, I feel like that's not the right way to do it either. Is that writer AI limited, meaning it shuts after some time? I don't know. Like, I think I pay for it, so it better not shut down for no reason. Um, I use this generic callbacks thing somewhere else. Okay, so there is an example. So this is the wait for gameplay event thing. So it has my handle. So it's a delicate handle. Maybe that's what it needs to be. Oh. Thanks for the subscription, Afro3DM. Much appreciated. Hey, you have a way more subscribers than I thought. Feels weird watching on two platforms. I appreciate the engagement there. um, okay, so then I need a similar event. That, I suppose. It doesn't have to be a U function. It doesn't seem like it. We'll see. And I hope I could say this. And then, yeah, I'll have to, I would probably have to be careful. Maybe I would have to make like a tag container to say with events to listen for. Support from all sides. Hey Casper, how's it going? Very good amount of people watching from YouTube at the moment. 5 people. That's pretty good. Okay. Then they use. There's also a gameplay event container callback for tag container. I should probably do that. Is it a similar syntax for the event? event. No, I need that. I'm going to do that. Do that. I would need to make a handle. Just so I can kind of clear that handle. Don't know if it needs to be a U property or not. Can we play with 2 gamepads locally in editor? I think you can. I think you have to set something up in like the project settings or the editor settings. I've never done it myself, but I think you can. Sorry, I can't be much more help than that. So yeah, when we unregister, we'll probably want to also clean up, nullify things there. I did that, and then I would probably like, oh, I would need to maybe go back into my gameplay tags here. I might need to explicitly put in this event. Just event gameplay, for example, just so I can reference it in code. Let's go into our private, bam, bam, gameplay system, bam, bam. We'll just do this, right? Event gameplay. But then I can include native gameplay tags. Let's get this debug system out. Hey, whoa! We got ourselves a raid. Bam, bam, bam. Thanks, Stevie Ray Drawn. Damn, man. That's actually, it's like Steamy Ray Vaughan from South Park, but also Stevie Ray Vaughan, the musician. I don't know which one you might be doing. But welcome everybody. How's it going? How was your stream? I hope all is good. It's going good over here, man. Just plugging away on some game development, you know. So let me quickly wrap up this section of code, and then I can kind of show you guys what I'm working on. Native gameplay tags. Hey, thanks for the follow as well, Stephen Ray John. Much appreciated. Now it's a legit party, so let's hang out for a bit, right? You're also working in UA, so we're really happy to find you. Well, hey, man, glad to have you. Glad to have found you as well. I appreciate the raid. I'm gonna follow you there. So now instead of saying event custom tag, we could just say event gameplay. So this should be enough. So just to give you guys context what we're working on here, we have what I'm calling a mix of like a third-person action game with a deck builder. So we have our character here, they're moving around. We have a basic melee combo system here. We have jump attacks, special attacks, basic attacks. We have status effects like burn, dodges, of course. Right now we're working with just a dummy character, but he shoots projectiles. Projectiles heal. We have damage and all that stuff. We can deal damage. We have passive healing when we deal damage. We also have these things called card resources that we're working on at the moment, where as you play the game, as you're doing well in this scope of the game, you can go into this card mode and you can pull cards from your deck, activate cards from your deck, and these cards are meant to grant you abilities, give you passives, give you trap cards, give you debuffs for enemies, and things like that. So, for example, I can apply these 2 cards that give me all critical hits, and then my critical hits apply burn. So now my critical hits apply burn, and obviously the camera decides to flip out. But now we're applying burn, and we're getting criticals, we're doing a bunch more damage, and things like that. And so I want it to be a mix of those 2 elements, and so you have these mobs that you fight, these different characters that you fight, but with an overarching AI that also plays cards. So you're basically playing on 2 separate layers, where the broader high-level AI is playing cards that buff his mob enemies, or debuff you, or counteract your abilities or your buffs. I remember when it had gas too. Rip. This game does have gas. This game is built off the gameplay ability system. So yeah. And so I kind of want to frame it. I want to frame it kind of like, because it's going to be like a roguelike, kind of think Slay the Spire style, where, you're fighting waves of enemies, but the waves of enemies are paired with that overarching AI, and I kind of want it to work like a card game tournament. So each overarching AI is like a person that you're playing a card game with. Did you keep the gas and just drop the multiplayer? I sure did. I'm not doing multiplayer anymore. Not really sustainable for just me. So I think it'll be just easier and easier to test and kind of manage the scope a little bit more. So yeah. So each enemy that you're fighting, or each overarching AI that you're fighting, has like a central theme. So themes could be about centered around status effects, or damage building, or tank characters and stuff like that. And so the player will take control of different classes. So you can pick a warrior, which is or a knight, I should say, which is the default character that we're working with. But we also want to have things like a mage or a rogue. And so each kind of character will have their own base set of abilities. And so as you're progressing, as you're earning points, as you're doing better, you construct the deck, you can get more cards, replace your cards, upgrade your cards. You can also upgrade your character, and the typical roguelike elements. So we're hoping that we do all that kind of stuff. Does dummies respawn when killed with critical? So the dummy will always respawn. It's just how it's built at the moment, so he'll just always respawn. So now we have our thing registered, I believe. So do you lose cards when you die? That's like one of the bigger questions. Sorry, excuse me. Gotta fix my nuts. Those are the kind of things that I'm still thinking about, trying to figure out. Yeah, definitely got to add summoner costs and cards. Thinking like a necromancer, for example, would be pretty cool. But yeah, when it comes to card lifetime and scope and what persists between runs in the deck and stuff, that's still unsure of. That I'm still needed to figure that out, because on one part, resetting your deck completely might be too much of a punishment. But also we need a reason to really make the runs unique and special, so there might have to be some randomness involved. Still things I'm still thinking about. And for all the newcomers, definitely check out our Discord. Make sure to follow as well. We're also on YouTube as well. So I appreciate the raid. Thanks to all joining. So what we're gonna do, I only stream like an hour and a half, a couple nights a week if I'm lucky. It's just life gets in the way, things get tiring. But definitely glad to have all of you. So what I want to do is just, I guess, log the event that I'm getting. How long have you been working on this project? Yeah, unfortunately, this project has changed kind of drastically over the course of I guess 3 years now, because originally wasn't this idea. It was only this idea for like the last like 3 months maybe. Um, but I'll say I've been working on this framework for about not an hour, about a year. Yeah, maybe there is a you discover card, so when you die and lose them, they are now unlocked and appear on the run. Yeah, that could work. Like I have to figure out how you kind of purchase cards, how you can upgrade cards, how they evolve, what their purposes are, how you make them interesting, how do you make players want to use the cards without kind of limiting their base of abilities. Yeah, I made this game in an hour using ChatGPT. So yeah, so let's log the tag that we're getting, and maybe we can actually log some of the payload information. So let's do that. I don't know why I deleted it, just to kind of do it back again. So we're gonna say, whoop. Let's just construct this string. We're gonna say, so event tag, and then we're gonna say instigator. Oh, fortunately, the autocomplete didn't really do me a favor. Can I get full name? That should be okay. We'll just see what kind of events that we get. Maybe a level system himself for the cards or something. I was actually thinking something along those lines. Um, so I was inspired by things like Devil May Cry, but more specifically Clair Obscur. With oh my god, I can't remember any of these characters' names anymore. Uh, but the original main character that you play from the beginning, I forget his name. He has the mechanics where, actually no, not him. Who's the other guy? My memory sucks ass. Uh, I have to remember character names. Just so you guys have context here. Verso. There we go. Because I was inspired by Verso because I like the idea that his abilities got amplified based off the ranking system that he has. So I thought Devil May Cry with the ranking system and things like that. And I think it'd be pretty cool if it's either a general mechanic or a class-based mechanic that basically says, as you're playing the game, as you're finding enemies, you're getting these ranks. And so you get from like D to S or something. And then like based on those rankings, the potency of the cards gets stronger. So like, if you're at S rank and then you play a card that says you apply burn on on criticals, for example. If you're on S tier, then it can say, enemies killed from this burn explode, or burn lasts longer, burn's permanent, or the burn can't be removed from another card. Kind of have give incentive to kind of hold on to play some cards based on your performance and things like that. I think that would be pretty interesting, but I'm nowhere near that part of the game, but things I've been thinking about. I think I have a Figma board somewhere. Yeah, style system for card rank. So yeah, this is some of the ideas and stuff with my friend from back home. So things we want, things we're affecting, what is the enemy, what is around, things we're trying to figure out all these loops. Trying to jot down ideas, try to keep things relatively organized. Maybe next week we'll do a design stream because we do have to work a little bit about these waves and because we want rounds and we want to have waves, and then kind of how do we make it interesting as a roguelike. You know, I don't know if we want arena to arena or whatever the case might be. So let's see if we get anything printed out when we kill our enemy. So we're doing this, we're doing this. We're gonna do this. Do that. We'll hit him a couple times more. Hopefully he'll die. So we should either get a crash or output log. Okay, so we didn't crash. So yeah, it looks like we got it. So we got stuff event.gameplay.on damage dealt, on death dealt. So yeah, we're getting the events here. So we just need to oh, my guy spawned in a in a rock and now he's bye-bye. I also use ClickUp for kind of more structured documentation. I'm very conflicted when it comes to documentation because, like, on one part, I get it, but on the other part, sometimes it's useless. Like, I don't think you should have very extensive documentation. I don't think you need pages upon pages of documentation. You definitely just need like one pagers for certain things. But yeah, it's a mixed feelings on my behalf. So we know we are getting the events. So that's good. I kind of want to move the registration from the player controller out from Blueprint. I want to do that in code as well. So let's do that. We should have possessed. So on possess. I don't know how to write this in code. another thing for AI to help me with. Okay, so there also initialize and deinitialize. I should probably include with this thing. Super. There it is. Okay, so we need to do what? So you. There. I wrap this in an if. Do active resource manager, register player, this. And that is essentially the same thing as doing this. So we don't need that anymore. And then there should be an unpossessed. You get fairly certain. Let's look in the base class here. Unpossess. Yeah. That bad boy. Where's my possess? I'll put it next to him. That should be okay. So we're gonna have to do a full compile. And then I'm curious how I should map the values. Because the whole point is to basically have events and then map those events um, to some values. And then pass that value along to some gameplay effect with a specific execution that can then further modify that value. So, for example, when you kill an enemy, we can pass along the gameplay tags that the enemy has when they died. So we can know if they're, if they're burning. We can know if they're frozen, whatever kind of status effect. We can maybe know what tier of enemy if we want to have multiple tiers, and we can basically modify that incoming value. So if we say on a generic level that killing an enemy gives you 10 card resource experience points, whatever we want to call it, we could then go in to this execution class to say, okay, it's 10, but it's a tier 2 enemy, so double it, modify it by this amount. He was also burning, or he had this many status effects. Do this as a multiplier. So that could be modified from a value of 10 to 50 based on some stuff. And then we can do things when you do critical damage or when you parry, maybe other class focused mechanics, just to make these layers more interesting, like perfect dodges, stuff like that. So ideally, that didn't change anything. I do want to confirm if I stop playing, we get to unregister. So I play, I quit. No. Do we get to unpossessed? Like super elsewhere. We do get to unregistered. Oh yeah, okay. I don't know why that breakpoint decided not to work. So wouldn't you use an enum in this case with a T-map or something? Well, I don't want to use an enum because I can just use gameplay tags. Because I'll know what event is coming in, and I know it by a gameplay tag. So I can do an enum, or not enum, I could do a T-map, like you're saying, of an event to some base value. And then that base value can be of like F scalable float or something. And then it can reference an entry to a data table or something. And so maybe these values could be updated based on player level if we have some sort of leveling system, So that could definitely work. Oh, we have 2 instances of the game running. I don't know which one to close. Oh well. So I should get this event again if I deal damage. So let's just wham. Invalid player character. Oh, yeah. So we hit event.gameplay on hit, on damage dealt. So it's all good. It's still working. And we could just do a kill again. Dead. So we're getting the right information there, so that's good. There's a couple warnings that we have that I'm not a fan of, and we got 10 minutes left, so maybe we can fix some of these things. So get magnitude called for data on. Okay, so no, we're doing this somewhere. Yeah, potentially stacking could work. We're definitely doing it here. So I have to check. I think I do this in damage as well. I think I have to do a check to make sure that there is a value actually assigned. So let me go to my execution. Films, image. Boom. Back. I'm hoping that gets rid of the error message. So let's see if that even compiles. Because if we can fix this, then I'm happy for today, honestly. Currently looking at Slack. Wait, did it compile? So watching you code makes me want to code, but the list of shit that needs to be done before the code right now is ass. Yeah, sometimes you gotta do some shitty stuff before. you know, you gotta build some good foundations before you get to do some of the funner stuff in code. Sometimes I don't like. Sometimes I have the feeling like I don't want to code, but I felt bad about myself this week because I didn't stream on Tuesday. But I got myself in front of the computer just to do a little bit of something to make some positive changes here. So let me see if we're getting error messages still. Looks good. We are getting warning, invalid character owner. Also, index accessing, not good. As a solo dev, it sucks because I gotta do all the modeling and coding, but I get you on a spiritual level. Yeah, I mean, if you love what you do, you can still complain about it. It's tough, but if that's what you want, if you want to create art, then you gotta do some tough shit sometimes, or a lot of the time. So let's get rid of this warning. Okay, we've hit unpossessed, of course. Great. I like watching UI devs while I work. It makes it easier to code with when you are seeing other people do the same thing. Yeah, I think that I don't want to be an advocate for working in an office or anything like that, but I think it helps working with people who are doing similar things. Um, because they get the context. Where's this warning? Does it give me any details? So it's in gas gameplay ability, so it has to be in the gameplay ability, right? Log. So that's why that's logging. So I'm getting get player controller, and since it's a enemy, we don't really need to get input direction. Why is this getting called on activate ability? Makes sense, I guess. Damn straight, my many years of 30-yard environmental design has led to all of my time dream of going bald at 27. I feel you. I don't really want to spam that much on it. I don't know if it's really necessary. I definitely should. I should probably have like a base gas course ability for player stuff and one for enemies, so that the player stuff has all this stuff in it and the enemy stuff doesn't, and probably make it cleaner. But for now, it's whatever. It's an unneeded refactor, I think. So let me look at deck manager component real quick. Camera manager, sheet manager. Didn't I have like a deck manager somewhere? Is it in the player state? Ah. Deck manager component. Okay, so it's only in C++. That is a very colorful output log. Thank you. I like to look at nice colors. I think there's under editor preferences you can change stuff for the output log that does this. So I think there's timestamp mode, UTC, and then colorize category as badge. So you can kind of change the colors if you'd like. So yeah, there is a deck manager. So is it under systems or managers? So there's deck data. Then there's card, managers, cheat manager, deck. Probably gonna get me a bunch of stuff unrelated. Okay, it's under components. So where is this warning coming from? Active deck. Like I'm fairly certain I'm doing something with the deck somewhere, right? Am I crazy? There's card, template, and current hand. So maybe it's all in this here. So I get to do is valid index. There's probably more or less cards. I need to connect to source control more often. Let's clear the log, play again real quick, and then I think we should be okay. Yeah, no more warning or error. That's good. So I think that's gonna be it for today. Why do I need to update my email? Yeah, oh, because I can give you my icon. Um, yeah, so thanks for watching, everybody. It's all much appreciated. Again, check out the Discord. Make sure to subscribe on our YouTube. Make sure to follow me here on Twitch. Of course, a follow is always appreciated. We can always let us, what's the word? Let us share the love with some other creators here. Let's find a good stream to raid. Why not? Let's find someone with not that many views. Ba 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 ba. The boop, boop, boop. Okay. Building a 3D Metroidvania sounds nice. Let's go ahead. Let us raid imaginary villain. Yeah. Awesome. So thanks again, guys. Thanks for the raid. Thanks for the follows. It's all much appreciated. Enjoy your night. And I will see you very, very soon.
Thanks for Devon Cherry's Game Devs. How's it going?